Lucretia Death was not created, she was awakened. Welcome to the path of immortality.
I've always known that I was different ever since I was a young child. The three things that I have always known, that I have always known that I was born, is that I would be a famous singer, that I was born a vampire, and I was born a witch. Now, these aren't necessarily going to make a lot of sense to a lot of people, and that's okay. I don't expect people to understand. But when it comes to the vampires, I've always just known, right? I didn't necessarily have a term for it until I watched Interview with the Vampire. But when I finally realized that I was seeing a lot of parallels, a lot of mirrors with the idea of vampire and who I was, it just made sense. It was like a puzzle piece that finally clicked together, and I knew that I had, a type of identity. And there was a part of me that also was curious if there were others like me. And before I even knew that there was a vampire community, I was consistently searching, and this is when the internet was really, really new. And there wasn't really a lot out there, so I would spend my days and my nights searching up vampire communities in Colorado, vampire communities across the internet, across the world, across the nation. And it was a really, really like extravagant, endearing process because I knew what I was. I knew that there were others like me, but I was so young, I really had no clue what to search for. And then I was finally introduced to the vampire community, and it was like even more puzzles came together. The pieces of the puzzle came together in that way. And that's just how I've always been. I've always identified as a vampire. I was confirmed a born vampire in New Orleans of 2023. And now I'm finally taking a step further in integrating both my vampire self and my singer self together in creating this really beautiful world. It's of course going to be a mix of like fantasy and real world, a lot of my own personal experiences, a lot of my like wishes and fantasies, and personal things that I've dealt with in the vampire community itself. So it's a nice and intricate, like, I don't know, fluid movement between myself, who I identify as, and then my music as well. I have gone through a series of names throughout my entire life. I think I've gone by close to 100 different nicknames, identities, trying to figure out who I am, who I want to be known as. And when it comes to my singing name, Lucretia Death, there's just something about it. And I chose this for very, very particular reasons. Something that I don't really explain too often, trying to leave mystery to it. But I chose the name Lucretia because there was a moment in the vampire community where I unleashed a lot of rocks that I was holding on to. And these were rocks that just weren't healthy. And I and other people that were partaking in this stuff were toxic, and I needed to let it go. And so I unleashed everything that I was a part of. I released screenshots, and it ended up crumbling a bunch of vampire monarchies throughout the nation, particularly two, one that was in Austin and another one that was in New Orleans. This devastated, like, broke the vampire community for a time. And so, in that sense, I chose Lucretia because Lucretia, she crumbled a monarchy through her death. And I had to do basically like a society death. I had to unleash everything that I did that was wrong, everything that was cruel, and really expose that vulnerability in my actions to the entire world, basically, and to the entire vampire community. And I came back from it, but there was a true death in that. There was a true, like, reputation death. There was a true, you know, can people trust me anymore type of thing. Like, I really unleashed a lot with that video. Um, and so the fact that she killed herself because of a situation that ended up ending the Roman monarchy, I felt some parallels to my own situation. Not exact, it's a very, like, broad parallels, but that's why I chose the name Lucretia. Now, the death aspect of it is because I am a death doula. I help people pass into the afterlife. I also practice a lot of death witchcraft, and I worship La Santa Muerte as well, Saint Death. And it only felt natural that for me, in my particular fascination with death and everything that I have done involving death, and then of course as a vampire, where we are basically like surpassing death while also um, symbolically, you know, being the Grim Reaper ourselves, it only felt natural. So I put the two together, and it was created that I would be Lucretia Death. The first time that I went on stage as Lucretia Death was at Bloodfest a few years ago. And it had been quite a while since I last performed. It honestly was not my greatest performance ever, but I'm still really grateful for the opportunity. And the feeling that I got being on the stage, kind of introducing myself as Lucretia Death, was quite a profound experience, to be honest. I had put this whole look together. It was a whole vibe. I really had set a sort of brand out there that I wanted, you know, people to recognize me through. And even though it was quite a failure, definitely not my greatest performance ever, probably one of my worst. It was amazing being able to captivate the idea of me as Lucretia Death and what I can bring as an artist, not only to myself, but also to the audience that is watching me as well. Beautiful, beautifully painful experience. Now, when it comes to my goals and my future as Lucretia Death, I am not going to beat around the bush. Like, I want to be famous, and I desire to have notoriety, fame, celebrity status, breaking into Hollywood, and really going forth and bringing this movement that I'm building along with me. I truly believe that my music being a mix of like Evanescence with Temptation, Nightwish, and then having like the methodology of like Taylor Swift when it comes to like the Crimson Court, my lore, the interactive experiences that people can have uh, nationally, internationally, in person, online, during live performances. It really brings such a unique uh, introduction to my music. And this is where sort of the vulnerability starts, because I am clearly putting out there that I desire fame, that I want to be famous, that I myself believe I am going to be famous. It's just a matter of time, really. And what I'm doing, and it's scary almost, you know, creating this world, building these bridges for people to walk across, these roads for people to traverse when it comes to my music, and of course putting my own experiences into my music, my emotions and things like that. It can be quite overwhelming knowing that my end goal is to be seen internationally, worldwide, but then also breaking myself open and allowing people to unearth certain emotions that they or may not, you know, have felt before as well. And so Um, it's tough. There's a lot of worries. There's a lot of concerns, you know, when it comes to being famous and the type of access everybody is then going to have to me. But I truly, truly believe that's what I'm meant for. And I'm going to work through it, and I already have a team around me, and I'm going to have an even better team when I'm signed to, you know, one of my favorite record labels, and I'm breaking into Hollywood, and it's going to be quite an amazing experience. And honestly, I can't wait to put the Crimson Core and everything that's interactive onto a much larger scale, being able to achieve so many ideas with the possibilities that I'll have coming from that. It's quite wonderful. So my becoming is still becoming. I'm still molding Lucretia Death. I'm still molding the Crimson Core. I'm still molding what I want my fledglings to do and to feel and to experience, especially during live shows. And this is my path to immortality, my path to fame. This is my path to my legacy. And with this new YouTube series, The Path to Immortality, I get to showcase this for you guys on a very real and intimate level, you know, between rants and events to exciting new things that are going to be happening that I get to tell you guys about, or that I get to showcase for you guys. We're going to build fame together in the path to immortality. And I'm excited that you're here. So, please stick around, follow my YouTube channel. I have episode 2 that I'm working on called 3,300 Miles to the Stage, and this is where I'm going to basically do a recollection of my performance in Las Vegas at the Endless Night Vampire Ball. And I mean, what better of a second episode to do than to do that? Because that's like my biggest performance ever. And anyways, we'll get to it when I get to that episode. Well, hand in hand, we walk to immortality together. And this is my journey. I'll see you guys next time.